Hey everybody, what's up? OCD Mikey, HiFi guy here for the late show. It is, what time is it? It is 11:30 here in Atlanta, and I told you all I would do a show today after it's my normal day for show, but I was at Jason Bonham and we got to see John Bonham's kid do and his band do a show, and they played Led Zeppelin tunes, all Led Zeppelin tunes. And it was brilliant at some times and shitty at others. You know how it goes, man. They got some tunes that are just on point, and then other tunes where they lose it. It's weird. It's like the band is in the pocket at some points and everything is killer, and then all of a sudden they fade out and the singer's trying to pull off Robert Plant and he's just not doing it, and he's doing it just and you're just like, dude, stop now. You're really like blowing it. And it was hard to get, then it makes it hard to get back into. Then they really have to pick up the steam to get you back after dropping you on your ass like that, you know, with some really crappy vocals or whatever. Usually it was like he was trying to do the like the moaning, whatever Robert Plant used to do when he was singing. The singing was all right when he was singing lyrics, but then when you try and add in some vocal things, it was just kind of sometimes really weird, you know. All in all, it was a great show. What's up, Dave? Good to see you, brother. And so I am going to go in. I'm going to make this short because I got people in the listening room. I told you guys I would come and do this for you, so I'm going to do it. I think I want to cover something that was kind of funny. I'm going to share my screen, and I've never tried this. What's up, Charles? I've never tried this, but I want to see if I can share my screen and see if I can do this. Okay, so let's see if it shows. There it is. Okay, and I'm going to see if you guys can hear this. I'm going to pull this apart. I'm gonna Mikey pill your ass. Okay. Yeah, you know it, Dave. That thing's a beast. I'm coming up with a name for it. I've got to give it a plate. I'm thinking Ripper or RIPPER. That's probably taken. I need 6. Or what was the other one I was thinking of? Firecracker. FYRCRFRCRKR. Something like that. Anyways, we'll go over that once I get the thing, and I'll make a video. Anyways, so I'm going to show you guys. This is something. This is and I'm just going to go. I don't need to see myself. I'm going to go right here. This is a video online from the Absolute Sound. And talking about Oniros acoustic speaker launch, Tom Martin reports, whatever. Okay, so this is a new speaker. I'm going to just critique it with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, and I'm going to tell you what goes on in my mind, okay? And, of course, I could be a complete dickhead and, like, have messed up thinking. So I'm just going to preface it with saying I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just letting you into my squirrel cage and into my neighborhood, which can be a scary place sometimes. But I'm going to just go through this and tell you what I think. So here we go.
Oniros Acoustics is a new British loudspeaker company. They recently launched their flagship speaker.
Can you guys hear that? All right. Oniros Acoustics is a new British speaker company. They just recently launched their flagship speaker. I'll turn it up a little bit more. You guys can tell me if you can hear it or not.
With a special listening session at the Power Station Recording Studios in New York. We were in attendance to put together this report for the select few at whom this speaker is targeted.
Okay, so right off, he says the select few that this speaker is targeted at. Okay, they're at a recording studio. Okay, so this guy works for Absolute Sound. Tom, I don't know who he is. He works for Absolute Sound. He's in New York at a recording studio. Okay, so already they're leveraging whatever the recording studio is to make their introduction of the speaker. So that's the first thing I think. The first thing I think is, why are they doing it at a recording studio? Well, they're trying to say it's a mastering speaker. Okay, maybe that's possible. Maybe it's a speaker that you'll use in a recording studio. If it is, what they don't understand is we don't use speakers that are used in recording studios. Those are too analytical and they're no fun to listen to. If you've ever been in a recording studio, it's impressive, but it sucks over time. It's very fatiguing. So that's my first thought. Okay, I'm like, okay, here comes another company trying to make money in hi-fi. Okay, so we go through a little hang.
It isn't every day that a new company is formed to take on the royalty of the speaker industry, which certainly includes
Take on the royalty. Okay, a new company that is coming to take on the royalty. Well, okay, they think they're gonna. Okay, let's see.
Wilson, Magico, YG, Tidal, and MBL, along with a few.
Okay, so he's already saying that they're gonna come in and try and take MBL and Tidal, maybe they say it, and Magico and Wilson. Are you kidding me? These guys have zero background. Okay, as far as I know, I went to their website and they don't mention names. So maybe there's some hidden designers that they're not mentioning. But as far as I can see, these are guys from somewhere else. They're not audio guys. Okay, as far as I can see, they're not saying it anywhere who the people are. They're only talking about the speaker. He's already comparing it. This company has never been on the map, okay? And they're coming in the map, and he thinks they're going to compete with Magico and Wilson. Why? Just because they're expensive? That's silly thinking. Just because it's an elaborate design? Maybe they will. Maybe they can compete, you know? Here we go.
Others. The market for speakers between 6 and 7 figures probably is bigger than you think, but it's still small in terms of units sold. So the companies that operate in the upper reaches of the atmosphere are often doing it because it represents a challenge and a hope and a dream of the team in charge. That's
challenge and a hope and a dream. What's the hope? Make money. You know, people don't throw money at shit like this unless they've got some ROI. If they don't sell any of these, they won't keep doing it. So it's you know, to say it's like some hope and dream of, you know, I'd really like to hear somebody explain that to me, how it's their hope and dream, and, you know, paint the picture for me. Like, we'll more to be revealed.
certainly seems to be the case with Aneros. They seem to be following a dream that I found quite easy to comprehend. They're essentially asking, what would happen if we took current loudspeaker science, which is highly developed for cone drivers and cabinets, and removed the production constraints imposed by manufacturing tradition and cost? This is not the way to make speakers that perform well but cost less than what we're used to. It might, however.
Okay, so I didn't quite understand that, but what he's saying is, what would happen if we made a no holes barred speaker with no limits? Why is that? That's no different than Wilson or Magico or you know, the other brands, Tidal. I mean, there's many 7-figure speakers out there. I mean, a handful of them, anyways. Borison, like, it's been done before. Like, it's nothing new. So I'm a little curious.
Be a way to make speakers that transcend certain limitations. Let's see. In one sense, the starting point for Aneros' work in this project was its location. The UK, of course, has a long tradition with the development and refinement of loudspeaker drivers and cabinets, with leadership roles having been played by the BBC, Bowers & Wilkins, and KEF, among others. But Aneros recognized something additional and different.
Like how he's reading off a script. You can see his eyes moving. He's reading this shit straight off a script.
In the UK. The area around the Silverstone racetrack is home to a large proportion of Formula One teams and their engineering and manufacturing talent. Aneros wondered,
okay, what the fuck does automotive have to do with audio speakers? That's the first question. It's not related. They're two completely fucking different things. Okay, excuse my language. I got to try and relax my this is how I think, okay? What my mind is saying. So my filter's off. I'm gonna check here back to things and see. Yeah, you guys can hear it fine. Okay, cool. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you could hear it. Okay, so that's my first thought. Now they're pitching Formula One. Why are you using Formula One as a pitch for loudspeakers? I'm not impressed. I don't give a shit about Formula One. Like champagne drinking billionaires having fun with their toys. Like, and it's automotive, commercial level automotive. Well, it's not commercial level. It's automotive, the highest level of automotive, right? But it's still the automotive. It's made for racing. Structural integrity, okay. Structural, rigid materials, light and stiff, okay, or in light, maybe it's flexible. But so let's continue.
What would happen if they combined UK speaker engineering expertise with
UK speaker engineering expertise? Womp 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 womp. Is UK like a brilliant speaker? I mean, I know they make B&W. They made, what are those Harbeths and stuff like that. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the good stuff that comes out of the UK that I like. Okay, I don't typically like UK stuff, but okay, so they're from UK. This would be like maybe Aston Martin. Okay, Aston Martin speaker. They should have just collaborated with Aston Martin. They would have done much better. They could call it Aston Martin, and there would be a name that people recognize, because they're trying to pitch automotive, but they're not using a name. Okay. So, what does it look like? It looks like a Karma had a baby with a YG Acoustics and an Estelon. That's what I'm getting here. Karma mixed with YG Acoustics and Estelon.
With Formula One material.
Oh, and a Vivid Audio, because it's a carbon fiber speaker. So that's Vivid Audio's. So this is already, there's nothing that I see that hasn't been done in this speaker at all.
Skills, computational techniques, and manufacturing. Aneros has built a complete carbon fiber cabinet, which is optimized for low res.
So what? So has Vivid Audio already did it, and Vivid Audio uses F1 monocoque design. So Vivid Audio's been there already. Who else? There's other Formula One, F1 racing. I think are what were they called? The Black Diamond Racing. Remember Black Diamond Racing? Also carbon fiber from the automotive
resonance via shape, material layup, and damping, all based on FEA modeling. The tooling for these cabinets is massive and
FEA modeling. So the stuff they use for cars.
Complex. They've married this with a giant aluminum front panel to which the drivers are mounted. The front curved panel is CNC machined from a single billet of aluminum. The drivers are designed by Aneros. The woofers feature graphene nano.
Okay, so the fact that it's machined from a single billet, I don't think really makes it that great. I mean, you could, it gives it no seams, is what it does. It's expensive to do. So they got a big ass chunk of aluminum. These things look pretty tall. Okay.
Composite cones, a 3-inch voice coil, and 2-inch peak-to-peak excursion. The Aneros mid-range drivers are 3-inch graphene domes, which offer.
Anybody know who that is? That a lady, old lady is, or is that a dude? I can't tell. Either way. Anybody know who those designers are? Maybe that's the engineer. That's probably the engineer.
Wide dispersion.
Well, and I mean the recording engineer.
In their upper range, thanks to this relatively small diameter for a mid-range. The tweeters are diamond 1-inch domes.
Okay, B&W.
The crossover is solidly constructed with special damping blocks and custom inductor support brackets.
It's got custom support brackets for the inductors. How silly is that? You know what an inductor is? It's part of the crossover. So there's a custom bracket for the inductor for the coil. Why is that impressive?
Sort of construction isn't.
See what? So what I'm picking up now is they're digging for shit to make something special that's really already been done. They're trying to make it seem like it's never been done before, and all this shit so far that I see has been done before.
Inexpensive, of course. And that's an understatement in this case, as the speakers retail for $650,000 per pair in the.
So the speakers retail for $650,000 per pair. So it's trophy audio. It's truly not for us. Okay, so why is Absolute Sound bringing it to us? Because they've got no other shit to report on. That's why. They're out of shit to report on. So they report on stuff that makes their readership does not buy this shit. There's nobody that reads Absolute Sound that buys this. The people that buy this shit don't care. They just put it in their damn room, man. If they buy it, and who knows anybody that will buy this, because it's a no-name company and they're going to come from nowhere and do a $650,000 speaker. Good freaking luck. This is a billionaire's just vision that he's bored, man. Formula One. So maybe if these are Formula One guys, or then they have Formula One companies, if it's a collaboration with a manufacturing company, they're probably like, how can we make our machines profitable in the off season? They're manufacturing machines. That's what I'm thinking. They're manufacturing if it's not race season and they're not making parts and whatever. Maybe we can keep our machines running if we make loudspeakers. But I don't think so, because they're not going to sell enough of these things to really keep their machines running. But they only have to sell one pair.
Yes. Naturally, custom finishes are offered, and Aneros has a design consultant to advise buyers on finishes and materials.
Aneros has a design consultant. Holy shit. They've got a salesman? Really? Oh my God. That'll tell you what color you can get and what finishes you can get. Wow. You can get matte or you can get gloss, and you can get any fucking color you want. Or you could just have natural carbon fiber. They need a guy for that? I guess it's their salesman.
Who has done the specifications for bespoke Range Rover interiors for the last 5 generations of those cars.
Okay, so why does that matter? Okay, so again, what they're doing is confusing you with bullshit that doesn't matter. And this is typical of how they market to you in the audio industry. They're telling you the guy that consults with you about the finish on a freaking carbon fiber box that's a speaker is a guy who has consulted with Bentley and Ferrari and whoever else, the names that he just, Aston Martin, whatever, British companies, and he's the Range Rovers, whatever. Who gives a shit that the guy has consulted with companies about what color to make their cars this year? I mean, it means nothing, but they're trying to smoke screen you. This is what I say, the stroke job or the fluff or the smoke screen. This is it, man. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And here they are throwing us bullshit that doesn't mean anything. The guy helped Range Rover pick their seasonal colors, and what color the coachwork will be. Well, who gives a shit? It's a freaking speaker, man. All the guys got to do, they're going to have, the homeowner is going to have the interior designer give you a freaking a number, a color number, PPG or whatever the number is, whatever the can't remember the spec for the colors, but they're going to have a color palette and they're going to give you a color, and then you're going to have them painted whatever color the damn interior designer tells you to do. If you want to keep the wife happy, if not, you just do them in whatever damn color you want. Make them the same color as my Ferrari.
High price, high customization, high service.
High customization and high service. It's no different than any other speaker company that gives you custom finish. Okay. It's no different. Yet they're reporting on it like this is something special. Oh, really? I can get it in whatever color I want. Eggleston Works will make you a freaking $10,000 speaker in any color that you want. And you name, I've got Maserati Bronzo in my room. That was the color that I called out. I gave him a PPG color. It was a Maserati color. Cost me, I think it cost $2,000 extra on the speaker. So they're $12,000 instead of $10,000.
That's lovely. But as we say, most of us can't reason from technical features to sound quality. So let's talk about that. Aneros.
Okay, let's talk about sound quality. Now he's saying that the technical features, there's a difference.
Arranged a demo that we've seen attempted a few other times, but not at this level of effort. They held the launch of the Aneros speakers at Power Station Recording Studios in New York, which is famed for recordings by Bruce Springsteen.
This again, now he's using something else, smokescreen. He's going to actually use the names of artists to try and sell you some speakers from Great Britain, okay? Some no-name speakers. He's using names of artists that you do know to try and give you familiarity with something that has zero familiarity and zero recognition. Okay, again, this is what how this bullshit is done.
Paul Simon, Madonna, Herbie Hancock, Bob.
Really, Madonna recorded at that studio? Oh my God, I want those speakers because Madonna recorded where they're demoing it. How removed from that, how removed from important is that? Evidently, it's part of his pitch.
Dylan, and many others. But they didn't stop at the venue. They had the Grammy award-winning band Living Color on hand to play a live session. The live session was recorded by Ron St. Germain, who was recorded.
Living Color. Okay. So they have their regular people that are in there doing their shit, and it just so happens they've got these Oneida speakers, whatever, Nyros speakers in there. Regardless, whether they went and hired in Living Color, trust me, the engineer could probably knows those guys and could say, hey, can you come in and play a set for us? We need to test some speakers or whatever. Whether they pay them, whether the Living Color comes in for free, whether they're actually doing work for Living Color, they could be doing work for Living Color. They could say, look, well, whatever. It really doesn't matter who they're freaking recording.
Hendrix, Diana Ross.
Okay, now they're talking about the engineer, and they're using Jimi Hendrix's name and Diana Ross's name to try and this, they haven't even been in this recording studio, but that recording engineer has recorded them. How hard could you be scrapping for importance when you're trying to do this? Again, here's the fluff job, the hand job that you get.
U2, The Cure, Red Hot Chili Peppers, McCoy Tyner, and many others, including Living Color. The idea was to listen to the live session and then move to another studio where the new and narrow speakers were set up, driven by JMF electronics and Siltec cables with a feed from Ron's mixing console.
Move to another studio. So you know what he's talking about. The idea was to what he's talking about is they record it. And the first part, he was in the room potentially with the musicians. So he's going to sit in the actual recording room, right, where the musicians are set up, and then he's going to move into the control booth, control room, and sit at the console or behind in the back of the room and listen to the recording that they made.
It takes some guts to demo a new speaker this way.
It doesn't take any guts to demo a new speaker this way. Why? What kind of guts? You know, I mean, I don't get that part. Like, there's something in it for the studio. Absolutely, you know.
First, let me comment on the live performance. Oh, if only most live venues for jazz, rock, funk were like this. The studio.
If only. He just said, if only Irish pubs sounded as good as a fucking recording studio. If only a smoky jazz club in Chicago commercial building sounded as good as a built out several $1 million recording studio. Like, oh God, this is such drivel. Okay. I'm trying to show you, this is why I don't watch this stuff, because it's just drivel. But this is what journalists do. They just take nothing and try and make it into something. Okay. Only if a commercial building that served alcohol and food and served up jazz sounded like a purpose-built studio.
We were in was medium-sized, but featured no parallel surfaces and was basically constructed of slat absorber walls. An intimate venue like this, I'd say it held an audience of about 25, is wonderful if tough to balance. You can see exactly what the musicians are doing, and the volume level doesn't need to be crazy. We measured an average of.
Why would the volume level be crazy when they're playing into microphones?
About 87 dB. Also, I had no idea who Living Color was, so I just listened. The first thing I noticed was that the bass player was great. Now,
oh, let's see, a band that has multiple records, probably Grammy shit. If this is Living Color, like those dudes, yeah, it is. It looks like the band I'm thinking of. Okay. Wow, the bass player sounds great. Okay. Clearly he does. I guess he said he doesn't know the band, so
I like bass.
We'll give him a pass.
And he played in a jazzy style as if bass were a lead instrument. I told him afterwards, you should consider a career as a bass player. I looked him up while flying back to Austin the next day just to see if he had a Wikipedia page. Holy, Living Color's bass player is Doug Wimbish, who, in addition to 30 years with Living Color, has played with Depeche Mode, Mick Jagger, Annie Lennox, Billy Idol.
Okay, again, we're getting into this guy's freaking resume. What does that have to do with speakers? Again, it's fluff. Okay, you have to realize the subject here is a no-name speaker brand. And now he's wowing you with names and history of this guy's thing. Why are we talking about the resume of the bass player when he's trying to introduce a no-name speaker? You know, you get the picture. This is why, because they're trying to wow you with all this other stuff, so that in your mind you're getting positive. Wow, Grammy Award winning. Wow, really good bass player. Wow, great recording studio. Wow, and then they show you the speaker, and your brain is already in the yes good mode, right? So it's just another yes good. They've already got your brain trained to do calisthenics of yes good. Oh, Jimi Hendrix, yes good. Oh, Diana Ross, yes good. Oh, Bob Dylan, yes good. Well, here's a no-name speaker that is a remake of a Vivid mixed with a Karma and a thing, and we're going to introduce that to you, but we're going to use as much smokescreen as possible to introduce it.
The Rolling Stones and Joe Satriani as
more names. Rolling Stones, Joe Satriani.
I really liked Living Color's drummer too. He did interesting stuff and varied his dynamics and style with each song. Since I'm working on the problems DACs have, especially with cymbals, I asked him to demo his...
He's working on the problems DACs have with cymbals? Holy shit, try a Playback Designs, brother. Wake up.
...kit for me. As he explained each cymbal, he started with, I designed this cymbal too. So it turns out that his entire cymbal setup is custom, except for designs that Sabian now markets.
Okay, so now he's pitching in Living Color. I don't even give a shit about the speakers. Now I want to hear the band, you know, like, okay.
Again, I thought, man, this guy is totally into sound quality just like we are.
He's totally into sound quality just like we are. Do you think he gives a shit what the recording sounds like? Probably not. What he's into is the sound of his cymbals.
Again,
whatever.
I looked him up the next day. His name is Will Calhoun, and he was named #1 progressive drummer 3 times by Modern Drummer magazine. He's played with B.B. King, Jaco Pastorius, Wayne Shorter.
Again, man, wow. Resume, names of stars. Like, dude, get to the damn speaker. If what you realize is this is a 10-minute video. If he just talked about the damn speakers, it would be like 2 minutes. He is fluffing it. This is filler drivel, not important, nothing to do with the speaker at all. He's just chewing your
Marcus
ear.
Miller and Public
This is what freaking journalists do, man. They're good at it. It's called a bullshit artist.
I could go on because guitarist Vernon Reed, who founded the band, and vocalist Corey Glover were also outstanding. They demonstrated a touch and a feel for dynamics that is all too often lost in a loudness wars world. Next, we moved to an adjacent studio to listen to the recording of the multiple songs that Living Color had done.
Okay, so of course now they're going to move into the recording where we've got the mix guy. This is in the mixed session. So now he can change and make it sound really tasty because he's making the mix. So it's going to sound different. He can adjust the levels of all. What happens is, so you guys don't understand, on the other side of the glass where all the band is, the band plays the tunes, and each one of there's like 24 tracks or more in this console. And that means there's 24 microphones in the other room. One's on the kick drum, one's on the snare drum, one's a guy's vocal, one's on his guitar amp and all this shit. And then they record this. And then in the other room, the guy sits with the knobs and dials and the faders, and he can raise or lower the snare drum. He can raise it so that the snare drum comes more forward in the mix, or he can raise the vocal so it comes more forward in the mix. So this is where the sort of the art or the creation of the production happens, the mix. And then there's the mastering in the end. Those are the final EQ touches to give it the polish. But the mix is where they blend everything together. So now, of course, it's going to sound better. The guy's making the mix better. So what's the first thing I think of is if they played it back flat, like they didn't change the mix, okay, then you would be able to tell the difference between live and the speaker. But if you go into the room where the speaker is and it's been mixed, It's a ridiculous demonstration. It's a ridiculous demo. So here's what I surmise from what's happening. These guys are doing a regular recording session, okay? And then this guy's just been allowed to come in, this Tom guy, been allowed to come in and see what's happening. It's not a demonstration of trying to compare live to the speaker. That's not that at all, because there's a mix going on. So they're going to juicify the recording. It's not going to be at all what happens in that room. You're not going to hear it the same. You're going to hear it completely different. So this is an asinine comparison.
Ron had about, 10 minutes to do the mixing.
He just said he just did a mix.
Which, even though he had a pair of Anero speakers in the control room, is just a quick tweak, not a full-on mixing and mastering job.
Okay, so he's saying he fixed the boo-boos. He made it sound juicy. He juicified it for 10 minutes. It's not a mix that he would put on an album because he need to spend a little more time with it, get people to come in, listen to his mix. Maybe the artist come in and listen to the mix. Maybe their producer comes in and listens to the mix and tells the engineer sitting there turning the knobs, give it more of this, do that. So of course it's not album mix. This is like 10 minutes of him juicifying the recording.
I wish I could tell you that the Aneros JMF system almost matched the live performance, but it didn't. And if you think about it, the reasons
didn't match it. It was way better in the control room.
Become clear, though maybe not for the reasons you're thinking of. Corey, the vocalist, was basically unamplified when we heard him in the studio, but his mic was fed into the recording console, just like the guitar, the bass, and the drums.
Of course.
So the balance live was very instruments forward, vocalist shy, and Ron mixed the recording
on a mic.
with the vocalist front and center, which is probably how he heard it in the control room. It took about 10 seconds.
Probably. It's absolutely how he heard it in the control room.
This is always a challenge in these demos. So I quickly switched gears to listening for the detectable qualities of the sound we heard. 3 things stood out. First, a sense of very low distortion, or, if you prefer, high transparency.
Okay, hi-fi sound. We're used to it. Wilson already kills it with high transparency. So does Magico. So does Estelon, I'm sure. What was the other? There's Karma. I mean, there's so many speakers that have low distortion and high transparency. It's probably great for a recording studio. Is it great at home? I say no. Transparency is good to a certain degree, but then it can be overdone.
Eats music.
So what we don't know is, where does that lie? We all know that hi-fi is transparent. Some hi-fi is too transparent. Typically, the stuff that's used in recording studio is too analytical, because that's what they're doing in recording studios. They're analyzing the sound. They're analyzing the recording. So you need something that sounds like that. Okay. I think Wilson started in recording studios. A lot of these, if they came from recording studios, they're going to be analytical, because that's the name of the game in a studio.
Sounded tonally right with loads of natural detail. The detail in the studio, by the way, was phenomenal. Yet,
of course it is. It's a freaking recording studio, dude. The detail is off the charts.
Relaxed. Second, the sense, which I've commented on in other top flight speaker reviews, that the differences in recordings are what you're hearing. In this case, track-to-track differences stood out. Lots of adjustments were made between tracks in the studio with different instruments and changed wiring and reload.
Track-to-track differences revealed. That sounds like he's got nothing to say. He's got no real way to describe these. They're not that impressive. So what do I come up with? Holy shit, I've got nothing. Okay, well, I could hear the differences between tracks. Well, okay, the guy spent 10 minutes. How many tracks did he work on? And how much time did he spend on each track? So it's a rough mix. So of course the track-to-tracks are going to sound different. Any speaker will tell you that. Yamaha NS10s will tell you track-to-track difference. Okay, and those are cheap speakers.
Located mics and monitors. The pattern of loudspeaker error or coloration normally heard just isn't as big a factor as is normal with this level of speaker. Third, the lack of resonance is
What did he just say?
Located mics and monitors. The pattern of loudspeaker error or color.
The pattern of loudspeaker error and coloration
normally heard just isn't as big a factor.
The loudspeaker error and coloration is not as big of a factor
as is normal with this level of speaker.
as is normal with this level of speaker. So what he's telling us is this level of speaker normally has coloration and error, and these don't have as much. Wow. This guy's getting paid to say this shit for them. It clearly there's something in it, because why would he say that speakers of this level typically have error and coloration? I don't hear that from speakers this level. They're excruciatingly perfectly analytical and perfect. That's what their downfall is. They're too perfect. I don't hear any error on anything that I've ever heard that's been 500,000 or more in speakers. So I can't relate to what he's talking about.
Third, the lack of resonance is
Oh shit. Okay, so he's gonna quote lack of resonance, especially bass. Okay, so first of all, you're in a non-resonant room. Okay. Second of all, have you heard stone speakers? Have you heard slate speakers? Have you heard granite speakers? Have you heard anything? Wilson, Magical, all those other brands, Vivid, none of them have resonance. So again, the three things that he points out, they're nothing different. Again, this is nothing different. He's given us the same damn shit you could say about Wilson. You could say the same exact things about Wilson, about Magical, about Karma, about Estelon, about and about Vivid.
Especially in the bass. This is hard to separate from room effects.
Especially in the bass. Man, if your speaker is vibrating and resonating in the bass region, it's not a good speaker.
But in this quick demo, the bass seemed beautifully quiet and detailed. In hindsight, I do wish I'd asked for better level matching. Many audio demos are too loud, but this one, given the comparison on offer to a live performance, would have been more fair and effective at maybe, 83 dB instead of at 77 or so. My bad, but that's why we do reviews where we have days, not minutes, to figure things out. Possible benefit of
days, not minutes, to figure things out. So he's going to take days. Yes?
Hi.
Oh, okay. There's food for you inside the toaster oven.
You ready?
Yep.
Sure.
The error was that it seemed the speakers sounded surprisingly nice when played at lowish levels. All right, let me summarize.
Let me go back and listen
to figure things out. 77 or so. The comparison on offer to a live performance would have been more fair and effective at maybe, 83 dB instead of at 77 or so. My bad, but that's why we do reviews where we have days, not minutes, to figure things out. Possible
days to figure things out in your reviews, but you get them on extended loan for like months, whatever.
Benefit of the
months to figure shit out
was that it seemed the speakers sounded surprisingly nice when played at lowish levels. All right, let me summarize. You can, of course, buy excellent speakers well below this price point. My impression after listening to a handful of these expensive assaults on the state of the art is that you get a series.
This is totally not an assault on state of the art. This is, okay, so it is state of the art, but it's not like it's an assault on state of the art, because it's really not doing anything different than's already been done in state of the art speakers. So it's not an assault on the state of the art. What it is it's a me too in the state of the art. It's another $600,000 speaker that really doesn't have anything that hasn't been done before. There's nothing groundbreaking about these. There's nothing new. It's just another $600,000 trophy piece for some Formula One billionaire who decided that what should we do this week? Well, let's make a speaker. Obviously, it took more than a week, but it's just somebody's pipe dream it's fun for them to create something like this. It's just, and I wish they would talk about who the people are, so we knew.
Series of refinements on already very refined music reproduction. You also get speakers that are capable of that success in larger rooms. That's the rational bit, which is only part of what is on offer.
Okay, Graham Bridge, chief engineer, Larry Bloomfield, managing director. Oh, wow, I thought it is a guy. I thought it was a woman. Anyways, whatever.
Just as much, I think you're buying artisanal craftsmanship, advanced technology, special finishes, and excellent service. And you have
so weak, so weak. Listen to the this pitch again. Listen to what the bullet points here.
offer just as much. I think you're buying artisanal craftsmanship,
You're buying artisanal craftsmanship,
advanced technology,
special
finishes, and
whatever color you want,
excellent service.
And service. You're buying a fucking $650,000 speaker. There better be service. Oh my God.
And you have to like the people involved in their philosophy and the resulting design.
What is their philosophy? Maybe you could have talked about that. All I hear is it's Formula One material. You have to like the people and their philosophy. You didn't even talk about the damn philosophy.
Aneros' idea of F1 technology comes to audio made sense to me, but you might.
Okay, tell me how it made sense to you. F1 car stuff coming to audio.
Want something different. That's the glory of.
It's not different. It's not different. It's been done before.
I hope you've enjoyed this.
Okay, so there it is. I'm going to go back to, we'll go to the site real quick. Share this tab instead. Okay, and I am going to, we can go, I'm not going to read you all their marketing stuff because it kind of says the same thing. It really pitches Formula One. What does frickin' car racing have to do with your damn things? It's just carbon fiber. We don't give a shit where else they use carbon fiber. And it just so happens it's in the area where they make formula stuff. So it just means the machines are bigger or something like that. And then it goes into, how it does it. Okay, now we come into here. Now let's see. Where are our specs? 90 dB, 4 ohms, minimum impedance 2.6 ohms at 90 hertz. Okay, so you need a big amp for this. 2.6 ohms at 90 hertz. If you want to make bass, you're going to need a big ass amp, which I guess for 650 pound speakers, or I mean $650,000 speakers would be expected. See if I see anything else that stands out. Mundorf. It's funny, they use, well, I guess British don't make any caps. They use Mundorf stuff just like Fisher & Fisher does. Diamond Dome Tweeter, OEM. So they hire somebody else to make the drivers for them. In-house designed, but and made in Britain. So maybe B&W makes them. Maybe somebody, I don't know who else would make them. I don't know all the British driver manufacturers. They don't say much. They don't tell us about the design team whatsoever. They don't tell us about the history of the brand. If these guys have anything to do, who designed the shit? Like, and what do they know about audio? And why would it be important? Installation, that doesn't tell us shit. So it's kind of a sparse page. Now I'm going to come back. Okay, so I will go through from the beginning and go over some of these. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you can hear fine. Okay, cool. They look like Moon Audios. Okay, I don't even know the Moon Audio speakers. Unrestrained designs for unrestrained spenders. Yeah, absolutely. It's a trophy piece. And the funny part is, it's only a trophy for people that don't know shit about hi-fi. Because if you know about hi-fi, you're not going to applaud the brand because it's a no-namer. It's got no background. It's got no history. So you'd be more impressive. So it's impressive to people that don't know shit about audio. That's what I would say. That's my opinion. Car racing is a rich man's sport, and it's let's put car shit into speakers. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. I know people that have worked with Formula One in the Formula One arena and what the attitude is like in that. I don't necessarily think these guys are in the formula. It's hard to tell. Tom is pitching it like these guys are come from Formula One, but I don't think so. I think these are guys that are simply from the area where the machines are that make Formula One parts. So they went to the local because they're by a racetrack. And so they called the companies that make the car parts to make their speaker. So I don't know if these guys are involved with Formula One or they just hired the Formula One companies. If they're not, if the principles of this company have nothing to do with Formula One, then it's really ridiculous that they're even pitching it, because it's like me going to a company that has a laser etching machine and then I start using all the customers that use that laser etching machine to sell my product. It just makes absolutely no sense. I would imagine if they're pitching Formula One, one of the investors is a Formula One guy, or you know, the capital behind it, or maybe the manufacturer is in on this, and that's why they're pitching it. But somehow they're pitching Formula One, which makes no sense. What's up, Charles? How are you? Aloha, man, from the Big Island. Dan, hey, what's up, Kemper? Good to see you. FEA, finite element analysis. Yeah, so like what they use for race cars. This guy is so lifeless. Your added dialogue is the only way to listen to this video. Absolute Sound should pay you to church up their vids for humans to listen instead of robots. Yeah, I know. That's what happens when you put a journalist in front of a camera, man. It's like, you know, it's a different skill set. I can't write for shit because I don't really want to just fluff shit up. I mean, when you take that video, it was a 10-minute video, and you think about how much time was where we actually talked about the speaker and or the philosophy behind that design or anything. We didn't talk about shit. He didn't talk about, it was so surfacey about what it sounded like. I was able to hear the difference between tracks. What else did he say? It was low distortion. Of course it's fucking low distortion, dude. Any speaker is over a certain price point is going to be low distortion. So it's I don't know. You can see how I feel. It's ridiculously priced. Yeah, it's not for HiFi. I'd rather buy Tidal Bugatti speakers. There you go. At least they know use the Bugatti name. Bespoke idiocy. Sure. What do you think the depreciation will be on these ugly puppies? Exactly. Imagine that. It will. They probably wouldn't sell if you had them for half price for sale. They probably would not sell because there's no history. Nobody knows anything about them. Tom didn't tell us shit about how they compare to any of the other brands. He just said it competes with them. Well, he didn't tell us how it sounded. You know, he told us some silly stuff that was so surfacey. It doesn't tell us about the nature of the speaker. It doesn't tell us about its personal, its je ne sais quoi. Does it have something that makes it different? Evidently not, because he just said things that could be said about everything in that level. Audio fluffers, who would have thought, Mikey? Yeah, I know, right? Raul, PPG, Pittsburgh Paint and Glass. There you go. Exactly. Raul is the other one. Mikey is on fire, just going after it, man. The drummer did interesting stuff. Yeah, exactly. He the drummer for Living Color, you know, has been drumming for 30 years. Switched up his beats in an interesting way. You know, wow. All right, already with the name dropping. Yeah, exactly. That's all it is, man. Listen to just dropping all these artist names to try and get you to try and make it seem important. If he didn't put those names in of the artist, this video would be utterly unimportant. It wouldn't matter that it's Formula One. It would be utterly unimportant. It's such a blatant use of talent's names to try and feign relevancy. What he's doing is he's feigning relevancy. It is an irrelevant speaker. It doesn't, you know, unless you play it and you let us hear it and you show us how it's different. It's no different, you know. He played on a recording of a band that I was with back in 1988. There you go. The drummer. Okay, cool. The guy who changes the light bulbs in the studio was babysat by BB King's third. Exactly, man. Totally irrelevant. Hey, Mikey, love the disdain. Thanks, Nikki. Stop asking questions and buy more product. Right? Mikey, you don't get it. Madonna approved those speakers. Exactly, right? Madonna doesn't even know about the damn things. That's how bad it is. Madonna was in that recording studio at one point, you know. I'm not sure what is more said, the horrible chill video or this horrible I'm your savior saint tirade. I think it's a close call. Who's the savior? The guy? The Tom? You know, I don't understand who's the savior saint thing. I'm a black sheep, you know, so I'm no saint. I'm the bad boy. I ram you with my fucking rams and put you on your ass. I'm definitely no saint. Back from the show. Hope it was fun. Sending love from Asheville. Got cold up here today. You know it, man. It was freezing. Is it live or is it? What are these called again? I don't know. Ouroboros. This is BS. It is. Terrible review. Hello. Have you seen this guy before? Clearly, this is paid advertisement. Fuck this guy. Yeah, I know. Evidently, he's got 46,000. I wonder how he got 46,000 subscribers. You know, That's what's suspect, because he didn't do it with personality. Can't be too bad of a speaker. Hunter Biden bought a pair. Yeah, exactly. Right. Tecton gives you any color you want for like $100 upcharge. For sure. It's nothing special to have any finish you want or a unique finish. It's not special. In 10 years, I will buy the speaker on Craigslist. Exactly. Next up, speakers made near the factory where they make the Yugo. Yeah, exactly. Kef Muon speakers look like the same designer. Damn, the tribe is on late tonight. Yeah, I got to bail. Mikey, I bet he gives stick shift lessons too. Shit. Guys should do infomercial for Flex Steel. Okay, guys, that's it. I just wanted to take a quick time because I told you I'd do the video. I ran late. I was supposed to do this half an hour and 50 minutes in. I will see you guys on Sunday. Thanks for joining the live stream. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. See you.